Ekisooka erinnya lyange bampita Bangumya Fred Lwakaizi. Nze wano ku kitebe kyaffe kya NRM Electoral Commission okwekebejja fayiro yaffe n'okwongeramu ebibadde bibulamu ku fayiro yaffe nga mukimanyi mwena twagala kugenda mu East African Parliament. Naye process ewedde bulungi, twali buzibu bwonna, kati ekisigadde kwe kuddamu okunoonya akalulu mu babaka ba Parliament, especially aba 12th Parliament. So mbasaba Abannayuganda, babaka ba Parliament, mikwano gyange, mbasaba mujje twegatte wamu, tutambule wamu, tulabe nti East African Parliament tugiyingira bumu, kubanga Uganda eyagala bingi mu East African Community. Kyova olaba tugendayo, twagalayo ebintu bisatu. Kisooka twagalayo obusuubuzi. Tulaba nga akatale ka Uganda wano tekamala 40 million abantu obukadaana tibumala ku nkulakulana y'eggwanga lyaffe. So twagala kugattako enamba ey'abantu ab'e Kenya, ab'e Tanzania, ab'e Rwanda ne Burundi ne South Sudan ne Congo. Tulabe nti tugaziya akatale kaffe, ebirime byaffe n'emirimu gyaffe gye tukola efune akatale akanene mu East African region. Ekyokubiri twagala obutebenkevu. Ndudde nga nkyogera kino ekintu kubanga Uganda tesobola kubeerawo nga ntebenkevu nga region yaffe si ntebenkevu. Kyova olaba tubadde n'obuntu butonotono buva our neighbors here nga ADF, simanyi Nolu, simanyi M23 buno bwonna. Era East African Parliament eyina enkizo kubanga eyina okuteekako etteeka eraba nti no region yaffe ebeera sekiwa. Ate region yaffe ebeera sekiwa, naffe Uganda tubeera sekiwa nnyo. Ekyokusatu ndowooza twagala kuteekako essira kati kwalayininga Parliament yaffe eya East Africa n'eya Uganda n'amawanga amalala. Kubanga ebiseera ebisinga oyinza okusanga nti etteeka liyinza okuyita eri ate wano nga mu East African Parliament tebalifaako. Okitegeera? Tebalifaako. Kyova olaba twagala kutwalayininge Parliament ya East Africa ne Parliament zaffe endala ng'eye Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda. Etteeka bwe liyita eri n'eno bibeere considered and implemented. Ze nsonga ssatu zetwagala kuteekako essira mu East African Parliament mu kadde kano akatonotono. Mwebale nnyo. First of all, I am called Bangumya Fred Lwakaizi. I am a contestant for Yala by-election. Today I came here at our NRM Electoral Commission offices to verify our nomination file and put the new requirements that the Chairman Electoral Commission required us to bring. As you are aware, we are contesting to be in East African Parliament, and the major reason why we need to be in East Africa as a country, we need to be in East Africa because of three things. One is we need to be in East Africa because of trade. Trade, we cannot have the minimum market of Uganda when we have our neighbors, the population of our neighbors. If we include it in our country, the population, we add it to our country, then we have a bigger market. And the bigger market facilitates trade. And trade facilitates infrastructure and industrialization. And when we have factories here, our generation, our young people can get jobs and we generate much resources. And when we have resources as a region, we can undertake East African infrastructures together, like East African crude oil pipeline, East African airways, East African standard gauge railway. So when we have money in our region, we can undertake those investments together. Secondly, we are in this community because of security. I have been telling people, Uganda cannot be secure when our region is not secure. We have had issues where some of negative forces have been operating within our neighbors. So if we are to be secure as a country, we need to be secure as a region. We need to be secure as a region. So, and the Parliament, East African Parliament, has a duty in policy formulation and the structure and the composition to make sure some of these security policies are passed and implemented. So that's why we are in this race, because we need to champion some of those things that we see that can help our country. Thirdly, we are looking at aligning the East African Parliament with the national parliaments. Sometimes you find that the policy is passed at the regional level, but it's not implemented at the national level. So we need to close that gap between the regional parliament and the national parliaments, so that what is passed in Arusha can be implemented in Nairobi, Kigali, Uganda, Kampala and Bujumbura, so that we move as a team, as a region, as a family. So I request honorable members of Parliament, of John's Parliament, to support me, to move with me, and I know we have been together. We need to be together. As my motto says, we are better together. Thank you so much.
My name is Balia Beatrice Karunji. I come from Fort Potro. I am a Mutoro by tribe. I'm happy to inform the nation that today I've been verified and clarified to go ahead to contest for Yala by-election 2026-2027. I want to appreciate greatly God for this opportunity. It's been long waited for, and we thank God that it has enabled us to come through today. I also want to thank our great leaders and the mighty party NRM for this initiative and all the strength and all the energy that they've put to make this day come to pass. Beatrice, I'm standing before you as the candidate, but my heart beats so much to see that we attain social integration at the fastest rate. We have done so much. When you look at our GDP as Africa, our GDP is less, it's 10 times less than that of United States of America. That is as Africa in general. When you look at the East African GDP, it's quite below the standard. And then when you look at Uganda, people are talking of trillions, and in Uganda we are talking of billions. It's so below. Now, why am I so much passionate about this thing? I feel these colonial lines, the borders that we see, the Ugandan border, the Congo border, these borders should be dealt away with. In the previous, before the colonies came to Africa, we were actually trading as one community. We had one trading currency which was called barter trade. We used to use barter trade to exchange goods, and we had no conflicts everywhere. I think it's high time we involved community, because in this process, the East African community unification, I think we've left the community behind to speak, to also air out their voices. I want to come and mobilize the community, sensitize the community about this. I want them to be part of this. Let them also speak and tell us what do they want. We have tabled bills which so far have attained the three among the four principal pillars of East Africa that we stand on. That is the custom union, the common market, and the monetary union. The custom union, it was effective in 2005. When you look at the common market was actually signed and tabled in 2018, and then the monetary is still on the table. When you look at the political federation that all of us are heartbeats to have it attained, it cannot be attained when this first three has not yet been attained, and all the three has been delayed by the sovereignty of the partner states. I want to mobilize, to sensitize. I want the community to speak, to attract these leaders so that they gain more interest in this progress. This is going to help our nation. Uganda, our currency is so weak. Imagine if we could only combat or combine together with the rest of the partner states and have one currency that would speak for us better. We would have better economy. We would actually not be staggering the way we are. We would have avoided several taxes, these revenues that we pay across the borders. You pay unnecessary tax. We would have eliminated many of these abnormalities that is making us retard economically. Secondly, I want to also I'm going to advocate for strategic security. We desire this. We need this to be on board. Much as we are pushing for the purpose of the unification economically, socially, and so forth, we also need to tackle the security bit of it. You cannot say we are going forward when your security is not there. Actually, you're not defended. We must establish a defensive military base. We must secure our space. If it means also going to space like China does, superpowers, like US has done, like all these other superpowers they do. We are able to do it as East African community, and eventually the African unification will come to attain. And I think that is really going to help us so much to try and also compete with the superpowers. When you look at our GDP, we are really doing badly off. So I conclude by saying, all Ugandans, please put me in your prayers. I pray for me for favor, for wisdom, that the Lord may empower me with his strength and wisdom, and I'm able to stand on that platform and actually voice your voices out there and fight for your best interest. And to my great president, His Excellency, we thank you for all the tireless work and the commitment towards the East African community unification. Papa, this is your granddaughter who is so determined and focused, and I'm too loyal. I am focused to attaining this. I want this to come to realization. To my great voters, the members of the 12th Parliament, please, in me there is your solution. I have all it takes to do this work for you, and I'm going to do it for you. I will go and lobby, I will advocate, I will actually lobby even for what you don't even think. So I will do it for you, for the betterment of our community. One voice, one East Africa. I remain Balia Beatrice Karungi. Thank you so much.
Honorable,
yes.
I've come a little bit late.
Yes.
Thank you very much, members of the press. My name is Bahabrugwa Emmanuel Babu, and today I am here at the Party Electoral Commission headquarters to fulfill the last legal mandate required of all those Ugandans who wish to present Uganda in the East African community. Today, a roadmap was released, and there were a number of items that we are supposed to have and fulfill. So today, I've done that last bit. I can now confirm that I'm now a candidate as an MP of the East African Legislative Assembly in the 2026 by-election. This, however, is still awaiting the SECI's resolution. I've been informed the Central Executive Committee of the NRM will be sitting this Friday to consider our expression of interest. Of course, for me, my candidature is premised on 3 core fundamental points. Points of strategic security, points of economic integration, points of political integration. For us, royal cadres of the NRM, we believe in President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And today, I want to use this opportunity to also further congratulate our President, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who is now our President in the new term. For me, my role is, I know that President Museveni is the preacher, and he is our Jesus Christ. And for us, we are simply his disciples. Ours is to further ideals as carried forward by our commander, by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Therefore, my role will be simple, that I will further ideals of the President, his vision for Uganda and East Africa. We know that the security of the future of the black race cannot be guaranteed without the question of strategic security, the security of our people. And therefore, we are going to further in the East African community the ideals of a single army of the East Africa. We do know that we have the East African Standby Brigade, which has never been operationalized. And we are saying, by this, we want to be very strong. As Uganda, as East Africa, we must be strong, not only on land, in the air, in space, and all other planets that do exist on the solar system. Therefore, my core point will be strategic security of the East Africa that can be able to guarantee the future of all of us. Secondly, economic integration. We know that 33% of our people are still in subsistence economy. President Museveni has done a lot to make sure that everyone gets to the money economy. But there is one way of having everyone get to the money economy. Uganda, we are still at 33%, and by extension, the entire East Africa. For us, we know the only way we can create more market, we can have everyone get involved into the money economy, is by increasing production, is by increasing access to market. There is empirical facts and evidence that economies with bigger markets, huge populations, have equally economically developed. Look, take an example of USA. When you talk about China, the population today of China is about 1.5 billion people. Talk about India, about 1.3 billion people. Russia, and all these economies have grown economically on the account of the numbers of the people. This goes with the land mass. Also, the land mass, the bigger the land mass, the bigger the access to natural resources, and which harnessed can lead to economic development of these areas. Therefore, we are not comfortable as Uganda that we are not able to access the ocean. We are not comfortable as Uganda that we cannot all these natural resources. I want you to imagine if all these natural resources were put to one basket and used effectively. Imagine all the rivers, imagine River Nile, River Congo, imagine national parks, imagine all the gold in Congo, in Uganda, and all these put together and are used. We therefore want further that the only way we can achieve economic integration is having a system, an ecosystem, which is tariff-free. Because when we are united as East Africa, it means all these tariff barriers will be eliminated. And therefore, it will be my role to make sure that we further those ideals of having a bigger access to market. And of course, now we talk about the third point is about commonalities. The things we have in common as Uganda, as East Africa. When you talk about the currency, you look at, we shall compare ourselves with developed countries. Look at the USA, amalgamation of about 50 different states using a single currency, the dollar. Look about India, very big with very many provinces, but using a single currency, the rupee. China, the same thing. Russia, the same thing. But when you come to Uganda, to Kenya, to Tanzania, everyone using their own shillings. We are saying it's time to move and have the same commonalities. Even the language. Language is a powerful tool. As the East Africa, we must have a common language. Look at a case of China, language. Have you ever imagined if our computers in East Africa were say coded using Swahili? Because itself is a tool, is a weapon of war. Imagine you're fighting with the Chinese. They can easily backbite in the same meeting. They are saying, leave this man is a fool, and for you cannot tell. But when they come here, they can easily conquer us when we are with them. Therefore, as East Africa, it's time to move with the same language. We start coding our systems, our computers. We run our things with East African characteristics. And therefore, as a record of the party, I want to tell Ugandans that I'm ready to serve because I've been prepared by the best. I have learned from our general himself and all the others, and mine is to further the interests of the people of Uganda, the interests of the NRM, the interests that guarantee the future of the black race. And without and I cannot relent on any of these core principles. I therefore want to use this opportunity to request for that vote from all the members of Parliament, those of the 12th Parliament, to support me, support Babu in this endeavor. The election is next week, and we are sure that we've gone to each one of them. We've gone to all parts of Uganda, and we've requested them. We've sold our manifesto to these members of Parliament, and we are optimistic that come next week, we shall be victors, and we shall carry these ideas forward for God and my country.